Alderson wakes up inside a strange sealed room with no memory of how he arrived there. The space is shaped like a giant cube, and every wall has a door. Each of them wears a uniform with their name printed on it. When Alderson opens one of the side doors, he looks through a short tunnel and sees another identical cube. When he steps back, the door seals itself. He tries the floor hatch and finds another identical room, and the same happens with the opposite wall. Believing the rooms are safe, Alderson walks forward into the next cube, but the moment he steps inside, a hidden razor grid slices him into pieces. Later, Quentin enters another room and finds Worth unconscious on the floor. He tries to wake him but fails. When Quentin opens one of the wall doors, he finds an empty cube. When he turns back, Worth finally wakes up. They hear a sound from the next room and Quentin prepares to attack. The door opens and Holloway appears, and Quentin violently throws her to the ground, thinking she is a threat. When she screams, he realizes she is another victim and apologizes. Suddenly, they hear someone calling for help. Quentin opens another door and finds Levin trapped in the next cube. As she tries to cross over, he stops her first and checks for danger. Then he goes in himself and helps her move through the tunnel, but her glasses fall and crack while crossing. The ceiling hatch then opens and Ren drops down into the room. Quentin warns everyone not to climb randomly because the rooms are full of traps and explains that he almost lost his head when he checked a lower room. Holloway notices Worth is bleeding and treats his wound, revealing that she is a doctor. Ren removes one of his boots and throws it into a neighboring room, triggering a trap that burns the boot, which leads him to realize the traps are motion sensitive. None of them remember how they got there. They were living normal lives and suddenly passed out and woke up inside the cube. While strange mechanical noises echo above them, they debate what to do. Levin suggests waiting, but Worth believes no one is coming for them. Most of them agree to search for an exit. Levin panics, but Quentin calms her and reveals he is a police officer promising to protect her. Ren tests another room with his boot, and when nothing happens, they move forward. They repeat this method several times while the mechanical sounds grow louder. Lean notices small numbered plates in the rooms and realizes every cube has different numbers. The group fears this means the structure could contain hundreds of millions of rooms. Holloway points out they will not survive more than a few days without food or water. Ren admits he has been sucking on a button to keep saliva flowing and advises them to do the same. Later, Ren stops them from entering a room even though the boot test is fine because the air feels dry. He believes the trap detects hydrogen released from the skin and explains he is a sensor expert. Quentin recognizes Ren as the notorious criminal known as the Bird of Attica, who escaped 7 prisons. Ren confirms it and admits he is only cooperating because he may need their shoes later. He insults them and moves ahead, testing another room. The moment he steps inside, acid sprays onto his face. The door closes, and when Quentin opens it again, Ren stumbles back with his skin melting and dies in agony. The group realizes the boot method is not reliable. Quentin believes each of them was chosen for a purpose because he is a cop. Holloway is a doctor, and Ren was an escape artist. Levin says she is only a student, and Worth claims he is just an office worker. Holloway breaks down over having her belongings taken. Quentin realizes they were stripped of everything except Levin glasses and suspects she was allowed to keep them because she can read numbers. Levin begins memorizing the plates and realizes rooms marked with prime numbers contain traps. She guides them through safe rooms using this system. Hours pass with no sign of escape. Holloway grows unstable, and Quentin talks with her to distract her. They share personal details about their lives. In the next room, Levin cannot find the correct plates and determines the ceiling door is the only safe exit. Quentin climbs up, but Kazan suddenly falls into the room, making strange gestures. Holloway recognizes that Kazan is autistic and promises to protect him. They continue traveling while debating who built the cube. Holloway thinks it is a military project, while Quentin believes it is entertainment for the rich. Holloway suddenly chokes and Kazan panics, thinking she is dying, but she only swallowed her button. When Levin selects another room, Worth doubts her. Quentin trusts Levin and steps forward, but she screams for him to stop just in time as he nearly walks into a razor trap, slicing his leg. Kazan panics and stays behind while the others move on. Quentin becomes suspicious of Worth because he seemed to know the room was dangerous. After resting, Worth finally admits the truth. He helped design the outer shell of the cube, but knows nothing about the interior or exits. The company kept everyone separated, so no one knew the full project. This realization crushes the group when they accept the structure may be abandoned and meaningless. Quentin attacks Worth in rage, But Levin stops him, reminding him that Worth is still useful. Levin questions Worth about the cube dimensions and calculates that the structure contains 17,576 rooms. She realizes the numbers are Cartesian coordinates showing their position in the cube and calculates they are 7 rooms from the edge. They continue moving, but Levin notices coordinates that suggest a location outside the cube, which confuses her. When they reach the edge, they find every direction trapped, and Kazan warns them through sound-activated spikes. Quentin insists on crossing anyway. They lower Worth into the room and carefully follow Holloway. Saves Kazan from making noise, but Quentin nearly gets trapped when Kazan reacts in excitement. Quentin explodes in anger and blames Kazan. Holloway confronts Quentin for abusing his authority and mocks his failed marriage, which makes him slap her. The group later reaches the outer shell, which is dark and unclimbable. They tie their clothes into a rope, and Holloway volunteers to cross. The room shakes and Quentin jumps to save her, but suddenly lets go and Holloway falls to her death. Quentin pretends it was an accident. Later, Quentin secretly takes Levin alone and tries to control her, claiming they are meant to solve this together. He touches her, and she escapes when Worth attacks Quentin. Quentin becomes violent again and throws Worth into another room. They later realize the rooms have been moving the entire time, and they have been traveling in circles. Levin deduces that one room connects to the outside, but it moves with the structure. They must wait for it to return. Kazan reveals he can instantly solve complex equations and becomes their guide. While moving, Quentin lags behind and gets trapped by a closing door. Worth uses the chance to shut him out and later drops him through a floor hatch, severely injuring him. Eventually, they reach the edge again and confirm the rooms are shifting. Kazan is separated during a room shift, but they manage to reunite just before the next movement. They finally locate the exit and sunlight floods in. Worth refuses to leave, believing the world outside is just as meaningless. Levin comforts him, but Quentin suddenly returns and stabs her. Worth fights Quentin but is stabbed as well. As the cube shifts, Kazan escapes into the sunlight. Quentin is crushed by the moving rooms. Worth collapses beside Levin while Kazan walks alone into freedom. If you enjoyed this mind-bending survival horror recap, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for more crazy movie breakdowns like this.